All right. I'm here with Keith Anthony Fluitt, one of my favorite vocalists and also one of my favorite people to hang out with and do gigs with. It's nice to meet in this format. This is the new normal. Oh, I just lost your video. Oh, you're back. Okay, cool.
Oh, okay.
No, we're cool now. All right, I'll say it one more time.
So, okay.
I'll introduce this one more time. All right, I'm here with Keith Anthony Fluitt, who is one of my favorite musicians, incredible vocalist, but also really good people. Just such a pleasure to have you here, and also all the gigs we've done and hanging. Thanks for doing this, Keith.
Thanks for inviting.
Of course. And I guess yeah, let's hear a little bit about yourself. I know you've done so many great things. I'm always happy to brag about my friends, and then I know you're very humble. But I know you work with Mavis Staple, and you mentioned Coco Taylor, and I know the list is endless. And you're also very eclectic. I know I called you for basically a country gig with the Scooches, so I know you could sing anything.
On a good day. On a good day. Yeah, but no, a friend of mine, she actually sings with Mavis Staples. I've never had the opportunity to work with Mavis, but I got a chance to meet her.
Oh wow!
Yeah, a friend of mine, Sandra Williams, who was the background singer for oh my god, oh my God, she just Sharon Jones.
Oh,
She
okay.
was a background singer for Sharon Jones. Once Sharon passed away, and they Sharon and Star, the two singers that sang background, had their own solo career right before Sharon passed, and then once she passed, I guess kind of a few of those projects folded, and she went on right before COVID, went on and got a gig with Mavis Staples, and then COVID hit. So, but I got a chance to see Mavis a few times in concert, and meet her once in Meadowbrook and stuff like that. But I've worked with artists like Ashford Simpson,
All right.
um, Roberta Flack, uh, the Pet Shop Boys, Elvis Costello, um, Olivia Newton-John, David Peaston, either record live. Those are the people I work with. Recording, I sang with a bunch of people: Diana Ross, Will Downing. Um, the list goes. It's a vast variety of people that sometimes I have people that remind me of what I've done because I don't remember. I need to do a Wikipedia of myself, just to keep track of what I've done.
Have you written a book or any memoirs or?
No, no, I haven't, and don't plan on. I guess if I ever wrote a book, that would be the end of my career.
You always
But
change it.
depending on what I said, what I say, But no, I've never written a book. I am trying to work on a one man show, tribute to Curtis Mayfield.
Oh wow.
So I've been busy trying to work that, and hopefully get it up to somebody stage at some point, once this whole COVID thing is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I think
So
you produced a couple of videos. I remember on social media, I saw one of your videos that either you sang as a part of it or you were part of the production. Was that
yeah,
a project?
I produced three videos. I produced two. One of myself of a song I did with another friend of mine. It was a remake of the Dramatics. Go outside. In the rain. It was called "In the Rain." Go outside in the rain. It was a big '70s R&B hit for the Dramatics. And then I did a friend of mine with a few friends of mine. We did a remake of Balloon Five's. Oh my God.
Oh, I know the song you mean.
Uh,
Right.
it was just a big hit. I can't remember the name. They did it as a ballad, and we did it as a reggae, an up tempo reggae song. Oh my God, I can't even think of the name. But we did that, and I produced that. And then another guy that I met a few years ago on a gig, he put out a CD, and I loved. His name is David Sosa. I loved his music, and offered to do a video. We've done one with him, and we still have another one to do. We offered to do two videos, and my friend and I, Chaz, who is a filmmaker, he started to do the. I got with him, and we got together to do the video during COVID, because just to have something to do outside, because no one was working at the beginning of the pandemic.
Right.
So we got together and started doing that, and I'm looking to do more, because I like, and not me being in the video. I want to produce other people doing the video. I like that better than me being the subject, you know. But just for starters, I had to be the subject, because how else are we going to get stuff out there and let folks know what we do? So hopefully I'll be able to get back to that.
I think that's a good barometer, Keith, of what makes you such a great musician. You're such a team player and great side person, and that resonates with me because I'm mostly a side person. Actually, I got to play one gig with Roberta Flack as well. You mentioned that name, but just the idea of always playing for different people. I think it just gives us maybe, and I want you to comment on this too. It gives us the first of all the tool set to get along with people. And I guess I've had that since a kid. I feel like you've had the same vibe, just getting along with people. But also, I really enjoy making music with other people. I feel making music as a community, and as a side person, just to make the team or the band or the ensemble sound good. What are your thoughts about that?
No,
Side person versus leader.
I totally agree. My thing was, and still is that I've always wanted to be a part of a band. I know that's not anything that's happening today as far as R&B music. Um, you just have a bunch of boy bands, vocal groups, and but no bands. And the only band that you have, as far as R&B, would be the Roots, but they're basically committed to the Tonight Show. And then you have another band called Mint Condition. I don't know if they're still together. I think they're still together. The lead singer, Stokely Carmichael, they're a great band. I think they were out of Minneapolis. But those are the only two bands that I can think of. As well, it's like the other Earth, Wind, and Fire is still around. And, I think the Commodores are still around, but I never really wanted to be a solo artist. I like being a band member, but the hardest thing to do, like a friend of mine said, who was a part of a band, my friend Bernard Fowler, who sings with the Stones, he was a part of a band called the New York City Peach Boys back in the day, and he said the hardest thing to do is to keep a band together. Especially when money starts to, when you start to make money, the hardest thing to do is to keep a band together.
Right.
So, but I'd love to be a part of a band, and be, you know, singing with other singers, not a boy band or vocal group. I want to be a part of a band,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah. I feel this.
yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. That's my thing on it. I just love the camaraderie, with musicians and singers all together as one, and coming up with the idea, coming up with songs, and the whole thing. It's really exciting for me.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's really well said. I mean, I've had a bunch of solo guitar gigs, especially being a guitarist. You get those opportunities. I learned a lot from them. But on those
Mhm.
gigs, especially if I had to drive somewhere and travel 2 hours, and like I would show up and have to play solo guitar, it does get a little lonely. You don't have anyone, even musically lonely. You don't have anyone to bounce the ideas off of. So
Right.
it's super cool, and I like that. I like the hang aspect too. You play the music, but I think the hang in between shapes the music. I know
True.
different times now, but having a meal together, or just I've even learned so much from being around musicians, just the way they carry themselves. Their life lessons, taking your time, breathing. I remember I was always the youngest person in the band, so if there was like an object, like something valuable, an instrument at the edge of a table, all the musicians that were older than me would say, "Oh man, push that instrument to the middle of the table. It's on the edge. It's gonna fall." And I find myself doing that all the time now. All these lessons that I learned being in different bands over the years.
That's so cool.
So I also one of my main reasons for doing this is also just the voice and guitar connection, especially with blues and all the genres that blues has affected and influenced. It had such a positive, you know, in impacted, has impacted so many different genres and styles. So for
Mhm.
example, I guess my one of my questions is, when you hear something like this, I mean, what do you feel, or what are your thoughts, or what is your feeling when you hear that?
I guess I'm probably I'm probably the wrong person to ask to ask that question because when I listen to music, I just listen to it for the enjoyment of it. I don't really listen to it to try to come up with anything. I just listened to what you played and I enjoyed what you played. Especially, I do like blues and I'm sort of familiar with blues, but I don't consider myself a blues singer. Um, if I had to do it, I know that I could do it because I have listened to some blues artists and I do know a little bit about it. But for the most part, whenever I listen to anything, um, unless someone wants me to write to it or something like that, I just listen to it for the enjoyment of it. I'm one of those persons who just like to enjoy music. I know there's some people when you play them stuff, they say, "Oh, I would have done this or I would have done that," and it's like that's not the question. The question is what does it make you? Well, that made me feel really good. Well, music makes me feel good, so it didn't. What you just played didn't make me feel any, I guess, sad or any. I relate blues to jazz somehow because vocally it doesn't really have to have words. You can scat or you could do some type of hum or a moan or something, and that could create something that, as a vocalist, would really excite me. On top of what you played. So I'm not sure if I really answered that question.
Oh, that was such a great answer. I think if there was more Keith Anthony Fluids in the world, we would have been in a much better place. I mean, to hear without judgment and just enjoy music is something that's it's super special and pure. And I think we have all had those moments. We just listen and enjoy it. And I remember you probably heard this too, having teachers say, forget what you learn, forget. You learn and you forget. And the idea of just not studying all the time, just listening. I think it's great advice for a music student, right?
Yeah, true, true. I think as musicians, I think we are automatically open. It's just I guess sometimes we get so caught, especially today. I guess because everybody's in their own, especially with the COVID too. Everyone is in their own space so much, and everyone now has a home uh, studio. So we're thinking out the box and we're listening for enjoyment, but we're also listening of like, what would I do? How would I have tackled it?
Right.
Uh, what genre I would have gone and taken that, tune into or whatever, instead of just saying they've already done whatever they're going to do with it. It's like asking someone, hey, I just wrote this tune and I recorded this song. What do you think? And you just want to say, when I ask someone of that question, my thing is basically asking, would you spend your money on it? Would you spend your 99 cents to download it? That's all I'm really concerned with. I'm not concerned with what you would do with it or your interpretation of it. That's not what I asked.
Right.
You know, I just want to know if you heard it, you liked it, would you spend your 99 cents? So when I say, hey, check out what I did, what do you think? That's what I mean. You
Right.
know, I don't want to hear, oh, well, I would have done this with the intro. I don't care. It's already done. So
Really, really well said. Oh man,
yeah.
that's great. Remember I did a couple gigs with George Benson. It was a situation where there's a bunch of us guitar players and we were doing two tributes to Jack McDuff. And I remembered after the one gig at Birdland, I think somebody walked up to George Benson, another one of the guitar players, and before he even said anything, George said, "Yep, you sounded good." Like, but in a way, not in a bad way, in a positive way, but basically, I know you what you're gonna ask, and yes, you have my approval, and yes, I enjoyed it. But no, it was a lesson. When I heard that, I remember it being a lesson to like are we expecting a certain answer, especially if someone asked you like, what do you think of the song? I already produced it, I'm not going to redo it. And basically, yeah, the question should be, should I spend the 99 cents? Did you like it enough to spend the dollar to buy it?
Right, exactly, exactly. And as a matter of fact, I just heard on the radio yesterday. Yesterday was George Benson's birthday.
Oh, wow.
They said he turned, was it 68? Yeah, I think they said he turned 68 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
He always looks
Wow.
good. Any photo of video I see of him, he's looks amazing.
Yeah, and he still plays well. I've got a chance to see him a couple of times, as well as I'm so bad with names. Ron, the bass player. He used to play in a club day band that I was in a couple years ago.
Ron,
Ron, not,
Ron
no,
McLaurin?
no. Ron, not Ron Long. That's another bass player.
Not
Ron.
harder with Miles Davis, right?
No. He's the bass player that's he's been with Benson since basically Benson started. He
Oh,
he
okay.
used to be really big, and he would play the bass and play the tambourine at the same time with his foot. And
Wow.
now he's lost all of this weight. He's like as skinny as olive oil now.
Wow.
But he still plays with Benson. I'm so I hate these. I can't ever remember anybody's name. I know the first name was Ron Banks.
Oh, okay. Okay, I know that.
Ron Banks. Yeah. Yeah, so we used to play together, and and then I got a chance. I used to do a gig every year at Tappan Hill. They would do a Christmas party. This company, the company that makes Just for Men, the hair product, would throw a Christmas party for their employees every year at Tappan Hill, and it would start at about 8 or 9 in the morning. Into the like maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But they would have a surprise guest every year. The first year we did it, it was Lisa Fisher, and we all got to sing it. But it was fun. It was fun because the band was bands that we all knew Lisa, so we got to play with Lisa. And then the following year was Ashford Simpson, and the band members. We all played with Ashford Simpson, so we got to play with Ashford Simpson. And after that, we were the house band after they played. But then after that, they had Michael McDonald one year, George Benson one year, Leanne Rhymes one year, Shaka Khan one year. So it was really, really nice. And we would look forward to doing this Christmas gig every year because we would get a free concert at like 11 o'clock in the morning. A full concert, a full blowout concert at Tappan Hill. Kool and the Gang did it one year. Really nice. Yeah. I missed that.
What was it like? Did you get to hang with Kool and the Gang backstage?
No, we didn't. Well, we kind of like our paths kind of crossed, but it was sort of the kind of thing. It was so early in the morning. Like we would have to be there like 7 o'clock in the morning or so. And then when they came, I think they came a little after and did the sound check. So it was like basically as our paths crossed, hey, how you doing? I mean, like with Ashford Simpson and Lisa Fisher, it was something different because we actually knew them. We
Yeah.
actually know them. And so we got to hang and talk and just catch up and stuff. But Michael McDonald, we got to hang a little bit. Shaka Khan, hey, we knew the band members, but, and knew Shaka as well. But, at that time hour of the morning and singing full force like that,
Right.
folks aren't in for a lot of talking.
Right.
Yeah. So, but it was nice. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. That gig ended. It was a family. From what I understand, it was a family. Still is a family business, and the elders retired and the younger members took over, and that was one of the things that they stopped doing because I'm quite sure it cost a pretty penny.
Yeah,
You
right.
know, so the first thing folks like to do is see where we can save money.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so we'll throw a Christmas party, but we won't be inviting top acts.
Right, right. Yeah,
So
the music business.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But it was fun while it lasted.
That's cool. I'm gonna switch guitars.
Yeah.
I'm gonna ask you another question too. Pull up the little bit electric. Yes, what I was gonna ask was, yeah, what advice would you have any advice for an inspiring guitar student? You know, like learning, basically playing some blues, but also learning to improvise. Maybe interested in rock music. Just the idea of that voice ear instrument connection and keeping it true, not running too much without space or not singing with their notes, not really hearing what they're doing.
Well, it's so funny. Yes, I just heard this yesterday, and I kind of live by that when folks ask that question about advice. Um, I don't really give advice. I just tell them to do what works for you. Just keep yourself open. Try a variety of things and see what works for you. Because I know as a vocalist, when I was coming up, I would have vocal teachers, that would give you their regimen of what you should do as a vocalist. That may or may not work for you. Until I met this one teacher who, again, I can't remember his name. Damn it. This kills me. But he was the first teacher that told me, and this is the first advice that I took. He said, you talk a lot. You talk a whole lot. And he said, I can imagine that you do a lot of talking, not only in person, but on the phone. And I said, yeah, I talk a lot. He said, I come from a family who talks a lot and is very loud. I'm not that way now because of the interview, but, in order to be heard, you had to kind of like force your way up to the front. So he was saying, for someone like you don't need to warm up. But this is many, many, many years ago. He said, you don't need to warm up. You're always talking. Your voice is always getting its warm up. So by the time you get ready to sing, you've been talking all morning, all afternoon. So when it's, 8, 9 o'clock and your time to sing, your voice is already warmed up. And that was so true. I never really warmed up. Even when I did call myself warming up, I never really liked it. Now it's something different because I'm a lot older. And a lot of things now come into play that didn't come into that weren't, as you're young. I always say you're, young and you're just going with the flow, doing whatever, you want to do. But back then I didn't warm up or anything. So as far as a guitar player or any musician, singer, drummer, whatever, just leave yourself open and try. Don't leave, like they say, leave no stone unturned. Try everything. Because something that you may not be interested in, you may find out later that you do like it, you have some kind of interest in it. And even if you don't, somewhere down the line, you can interpret that into what you do. So I always just say, leave yourself open. Don't be closed-minded about anything. Music is an experience. Music is full of colors. So it's, just open the coloring book and, get the colors out and start painting.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that's great advice for all of us, Keith.
Yeah, thank you.
Well said.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess one other thing I thought of, and it may be, oh, I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
No. I was just going to say, I was going to turn the interview around and say, what have you been up to? What have you been doing?
I've been trying to practice more classical guitar. If I don't have a gig coming up, I really like to focus on that. I feel like it helps all the other aspects of my playing. But in terms of just this last year, it's been I created that blues guitar video. I've created 2 blues guitar video courses. It was nice to fly to Colorado and do that for Jam Play and True Fire. That was just so much fun, and I did all the backing tracks before I left, so I got to dust out the electric bass. I actually borrowed a friend of mine's electric bass because the one I had wasn't that great. Since then, I bought an electric bass, which is nice. I always had one as a kid, I used my dad's, but then when my dad passed, he got rid of a lot of his equipment. So yeah, got to play more drums and electric bass this year, which is cool. And all these things that come up online. I know it was super fun. I did the I guess it was the late January summer stage for New York City for Martin Luther King Day. I did it with
Oh, nice.
Russell Hall's band and C. Anthony Bryant, who's a great vocalist but also a great preacher. So that was super fun to do that with you. I wonder if you know him, or Russell Hall, the bass player, also a great singer as well.
Well, I know of them both. I've never met them, but I know of them.
Yeah, it's one of my goals to get all my people together. I know Russell took us to lunch afterwards and said, you two men are my model, figures of being what a man is, and C. Anthony Bryan is an African American gay man from Washington D.C. So it was just wonderful that Russell said that, just meaning, let's just what everything that means to be a man is not necessarily a certain stereotype of what people believe it is. And I marched a lot over the when the pandemic first happened. We marched for transgender lives matter and gay and lesbian lives matter, and of course Black Lives Matter. I did one with John Baptiste as well. So
Oh, cool.
not only the gig, oh yeah, it was such a I really felt like we were. It was such a obvious, as you know, a great cause, but I felt like I was doing the work that needed to be done. But Russell is just magical with that. Just really cares about society and is always just has incredible value. So we talked about the hang, right? Not only that gig was incredible, the hang afterwards, just being with Russell and C. Anthony Bryant, woo! And I did a video with C. Anthony Bryant a couple weeks before with Alfonso Horn contracted it, who's a great musician. You know Alfonso Horn? He's a great trumpet player. He sings too.
No, I don't know him. The name rings a bell, but I don't know him.
But anyway, so yeah, these things that happened in the last year, either wearing masks or outdoors or a combination of both, and being really careful. So I was blessed that I had those, and then doing online lessons, guitar and ukulele lessons, but for the most part, staying home and running out and do those things, and then back to doing some online stuff.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I guess everybody's been doing the stuff at home. I'm the same. The one good thing about this pandemic is it finally forced me to learn my garage band. If you have a computer, a Mac, everybody has it. It comes with it, but I never used it. You get so lazy just getting the call, hey, can you come down do a session? It's going to be so and so time, so and so studio, and whatever. I never used my garage band. So funny thing, that first time I used it, a friend of mine called me and she said, can you have a setup? And I'm like, yeah, I have a setup, but I don't have a mic. All I have is my computer, the laptop. And she said, well, this guy doing a demo for a jingle, and he needs a male singer. And so I sent him, I knew how to record my friend Dewan told me how to record into the garage band and send it to him for him to hear my voice, whatever. Long story short, that was my first recording ever using GarageBand, and the jingle went final. They started playing it in January of this month. It's an Almond Breeze commercial that's been playing since the beginning of the year. So that's been a nice little hidden blessing. And since then, I've got a mic and an interface and all the stuff that you need to do an actual recording. But if you see that jingle, I recorded it singing right into the mic that's built into the laptop with no interface. No, I borrowed an interface. My friend Nona Hendricks loaned me an interface as well as headphones and all that stuff. And so
super cool. So for the final jingle, you use headphones and interface, but use the computer mic?
I used a computer mic, and Nona loaned me a pair of her headphones and her interface. Interface that she said I could have, but I wound up, buying my own headphones. So I gave it to her back. But that was my first recording ever that Luan walked me through, step by step.
Wow.
And I think and the final product is what you hear on television. you know,
I want to check that
and we
out.
all had to record it each, individually, because this was at I think in April. So we were starting to spike and all that stuff with the pandemic and everything, and nobody was going to anybody's house, and it was very frustrating, because I'm a hands-on kind of person. So to, say it's not working, and to say you got to do this, you got to do. I'm doing it, but it's not working. See, let me show you. We get on FaceTime, and then I can't see it. Can you get a little closer? Back it up. Turn to the left. Turn to all of that stuff. So but like I said, long story short, with all the transitions and channels that it went through, finally got the okay and it went final.
Uh,
So
that's
hopefully there'll be more.
what a blessing. I'm gonna check it out. That's almond breeze commercial.
Yeah, you can. It's on YouTube as well. You just put in "irresistibly delicious almond breeze," and both the 15-second spot and the 30-second spot will show up.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
And this is the last question I was thinking of, and this probably is related to the other questions, but I guess I was thinking as an instrumentalist, and such a fan of yours, and hearing you riff. If I do something like when you riff, what are you feeling, and what are you doing? And the answer could be I don't think at all, and that's totally cool. And I know it can change from moment to moment.
Well, I do think, because I don't consider myself I always say I have three good riffs, and I just use those three, and I try to vary between the three to make it seem like I have more. But I just go with the feeling. I try not to think, but I'm always thinking when it comes to riffing and ad-libbing and stuff like that. But it seems like when I am able to just let myself go and be free, that's the best work that comes out. And that could be from some ooh or yay. I can't really. I'm sorry, I can't really sing here, but because I'm on the spot. But or just even like a good, uh, a good soulful Al Green scream, or something,
Yeah.
But I try not to think about riffing and just try to go for it. Just let the music take me wherever it's going to take me. And like with that riff you just played, I just heard like a ooh, or something, like that on those lines.
That's
Yeah.
That's great advice. Because as an educator, I'm trying to guide my students, but in an organic way. And it's the tendency, especially for fretted string instruments, is to be visual and tactile and tablature and thinking. And I try to do the complete opposite. Get them to sing it. Get them to not even look at their fingerboard. Get them not to get wrapped up in theory. And really just be as you would a vocalist or a trombone player, where you just really having that freedom. And then just one last thing, when you were saying you have those, I love what you said. I have three good riffs, and I just changed it around a bit. And I know that's one thing I do offer some students, like check out this this Robert Johnson that inspired many other guitar players after him, or Sister Rosetta Tharpe learned some of those riffs, or Sister O.M. Terrell, and then recycle those. And even if it's three, you can get, because I've never thought that by any means that you've only know three riffs. So you where they say fake it till you make it, right? But when you said that you got
That's so true.
free up after that, what happens? Because something must happen where you go into this creative, you go into the zone, as they call it. And
Yeah, something just happens. I don't know what it is, but I just try to let the music take over and not really follow. I know I don't play keyboard, so I'm just starting to really get serious about learning to play the keyboards, because I know some of the best singers for me. I mean, there's so many of today's singers. A lot of them probably don't play, but they're just phenomenal singers. But I think some of the best singers for me that I grew up listening to and had the pleasure of working with were also musicians, so they know the keyboard. So no matter where, especially like when you're jamming and the keyboard, the band just, they're playing a particular song and they just take it left. You can go left right along with them, because you know the keyboard, the guitar, the structure of the song, so you know where to go. Sometimes, like I say, I definitely do not scat. So, and I know when I try to scat, I start off very well, but somewhere along the line, I get lost, and it's like, oh, So I don't do it. So, and I think
I think
the
you're great
best
at it. When I hear you scat and riff, it's just wonderful. So I know you're very humble.
No, I really don't. I mean, there's a couple, like I said, a couple of things that I do. I know my limitations. I'll just leave it there.
Yeah.
So, but I think if you know your keyboard or if you know the guitar, if you know this, you'll never get lost, you know. Um, and yeah, yeah. If you know if you know whatever instrument, then you won't get lost. To me, that's my interpretation of it. That there's no way of getting lost because you know where you are, or you know where the musicians are going at all times, and you can follow. I have a good enough ear that I can do it too. But then sometimes if they really get tricky on me, my thing is the beat. I like to flip the beat, and sing off the beat, which a lot of today's singers do. And I guess I was doing it before it became popular. I would purposely, sing behind the beat or sing totally off the beat,
Yeah.
and it would just, people would get so upset with me. But and now I look at it as I was a little ahead of my time, but it was something that I guess I was preparing myself for just to today, because some of the background vocals and stuff of today's music, they want you behind the beat. They always say, sing behind the beat, sing behind the beat, don't sing on the one. So it's easy for me to do because I was just doing it as being a clown. So now I get paid to do it.
That's well said.
Yeah.
I know I started with drums as a kid, so they didn't have guitar in school, so I played drums all through grade school. Did you play drums also? Because you have such a great sense of rhythm and time. And
Well, I took the basics of every instrument. I went to an after school program where when they had after school programs, for the kids, I went to one for several years, and I took the basics of every instrument. I took, violin, tuba, um, piano, drums, guitar, bass, flute, violin, viola, whatever they had. It was because as a kid, you just, it was like, one week you're this, and then next week, and that same week you're bored, so you switch up, and they allowed you to switch up. So I never stuck with anything outside of my voice.
yeah, yeah.
That was the only thing I stuck. I even took, they had dance classes, so I took tap dance, I took ballet, I took modern, I did everything they had to offer, acting classes and everything until, but the only thing that I stuck with was the voice. I kind of regret it now because I would probably be like a prince, because I would, be able to play, numerous instruments, but, I have the voice.
And you have an incredible voice. That is your instrument.
Oh, thanks.
And I think the voice permeates through everything. I know that's one of my main connections to all the lessons that I teach is it goes back to the voice. Can you sing it? I mean, when I study with Billy Bauer, he'd say, sing it. He'd like yell at me, sing it. So it gets away from the, because these are just machines and you can easily move up and you can move up a major third. You know what it is. And you have, obviously the guitar you have to tune. But I think the voice you can't hide. You got the voice. There's nothing to hide behind. There's no trick. So I feel like bringing everything back to the voice. That's why I've always had a special admiration for vocalists, and just feeling that that's the most organic, natural way barometer to make sure that you're hearing stuff is if you can sing it.
Well, you have one of the best voices in your house, your wife.
Oh,
She
man,
has a
great.
beautiful instrument, and the way that her writing well, not only her writing, but the way she interprets the song, and it's not, and sometimes I guess well, with R&B music, it's all about how many riffs and stuff. I won't mention the artist, but there's a song that's out today that I'll just say, I love what your wife does with the song,
Oh, thanks.
and she brings the song to life without all the tricks, without all the stuff that you can do with it. It's just bare. It's like a Roberta Flack where you just get the song,
Yeah.
and she just gives you the song. And there's a lot of good stuff around the song, and she does a lot of good stuff with the musicians and stuff. But I mean, when you just listen to her, it's pure. And
Oh,
you can't fake that. Like you said, it's pure. And I remember that last song that your wife wrote. That I can't remember the name of that. Oh my God!
oh no, I know
Just call this
the
the
one we did at APAP, right, with the Scooches. I know the one
the last one she wrote. Oh man, just call this the interview where he couldn't remember anything.
no, you remember. I know
Oh,
what
but
you mean.
that
The one we
song is
played at
just
APAP. It's sort of a new, it's still a new tune. I know the one. I know the one you mean. Yeah.
yeah, that's a beautiful song. And then her interpretation of it is just she tells the story where you can actually see what she's singing. And that's my thing. I could, if I can see what you're singing, then I'm sold,
Oh, right, right.
and it doesn't have to be a bunch of riffs or I mean, that adds to it, but sometimes it's so much where like
Oh,
I said, I
leaving.
heard this one song and
Leaving
it's
is the
just
one
like,
you're thinking of.
I'm
Leaving.
sorry.
Leaving.
Oh, yes, 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 yes. That's the song.
It's Bettina
Yes,
and leaving.
yes. Beautiful song.
No,
I can't wait for you guys to record that and put it out.
well, you're going to be part of it. I mean, you're part of the video. We made that. We got the video edited, and then we actually shared it with one festival, like an online festival. We just submitted it just for them to play it. It's called the Big Orange Tarp, part of Falcon Ridge Folk Festival. But we got, you know how it is with the last year. But we really need to put it out on YouTube. I have to, actually I'll get up there. But yeah, it sounds,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's a great tune, great, and she sounds awesome,
Oh wow.
so awesome.
You're part of it. You're part of that sound. It's when we definitely that'll be the next thing we do is have you and all of us get into the studio and record that. But
Cool.
video is everything too. It's like we have that video and we have it live from APAP, so that's people may pay attention to that more. That'll affect more lives than actual the audio. But I'm still an audio person. I love listening to even vinyl. I have all this great vinyl. And one last thing, you mentioned earlier about playing instruments. I love hearing Aretha Franklin play piano, man. And then you also they did a wonderful job with the new movie that came out, little series. Have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I DVR'd it, but I was just watching it. I just finished watching it yesterday. It was on channel. It was on PBS, called Memories of Aretha Franklin, I believe. Oh my God! But I'll jot it down when I get home.
Yeah, text it to me. I want to see it.
It's incredible. It
Yeah.
is incredible, and it just shows so many footage of Aretha singing live on some of these TV shows and stuff like that. And it's just that woman, her piano playing and her voice is just amazing. And another one, well, got the chance to work with was Valerie Simpson of Ashford Simpson.
Wow.
Her piano playing is just phenomenal, as well as her singing.
Yeah.
And she's another one that can sing, just have these beautiful pure tones and stuff, and just sing it straight. And then she can turn around and just get all gospel,
Yeah.
but she's just everywhere, and it's always tasteful. That's like this artist I was saying that we did this video, David Sosa. He's another singer that I love, a male singer that I absolutely love. He's a great writer, great songwriter, great singer, and very tasteful. I mean, because he can give you all the Mariah Carey runs and this, that, and the other, but it's so tasteful where it's like, oh, wow, I would have put that there as well.
Yeah.
Like listening to a guitar player, you said, I would have done that same riff right there, and it's just enough.
Yeah.
It's just enough. It's not enough to say, oh my God, would you just stop?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's just enough where you enjoy it, where you do want more, but he just gives you enough, leaving you wanting more.
Yeah. Yeah. I know this guitar player is, to me, like when I hear Hendrix, like there's no way you could do it any differently. It's just so pure. Everything that man did is just the space and the phrasing. And also guitar players like Carlos Santana, also just one note and all the sustain and all the space that they leave. It's so incredible. Yeah, actually, I forgot to ask you, Keith, but do you have any background in the church? To speaking of gospel music, because so much of that gospel tradition is out as church music. And
I do, but I always call myself a combo plate because I went to Catholic school during the week, and then I went to my birth church, my baptismal church, on Sundays, and that was an AME church. So I have a little bit of both, and I sang in the choir and then quit. at my home church because they always wanted, I always knew I wanted to sing or be in entertainment as a kid. So whenever a solo would come, they would always give me the solo. So and I would try to get them to get other people, but they never would. So I just quit. I said, the only way that you're going to give the solo to somebody else is if I leave. So I quit.
Man.
So, so I didn't sing in church that much. I sang, I would say, in the Catholic church more than I did in the gospel church.
Oh, wow.
Because we sang as a group, as a community. I guess that's why I get the group thing from.
Yeah,
I wanted to be in a group. It was a more of a community than a soloist thing.
right,
You
right, right.
know?
I hear you.
Yeah,
Oh, what a pleasure. This has
yeah.
been so great. Wow. You said so many cool things and inspiring, very inspiring interview. And this is only the second interview I've ever done in my entire life. So I appreciate
Oh, cool.
you being
I'm
so.
glad you invited me. I'm glad we were able to get it done. I know we went around the world, and aye, but
Oh, no worries.
I'm
My
glad we
heart went out
finally.
to you because I've been there so many times. I know what it's like when you're stuck in traffic. It's just you can't do anything, especially if you need the bathroom or, I'll bring coffee with me and then the coffee's cold or you can't stop and get something to eat. You're just trapped.
Right, right, right,
Glad you got home safe.
right. Exactly. So, but I'm glad you invited me. This is really fun.
This is so much fun. So great to see you. I'm gonna make sure I hit save. I got it. I see it recording, so hopefully we're good and it saves properly. And
Okay.
I'll send you the link. I'll probably put something out short, like a 1 minute, and then when I get the YouTube going, I'll put the whole thing out.
Oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll definitely share it.
Oh, great, great. All right,
Cool,
thanks, Keith.
cool.
Enjoy the rest of your day. We'll definitely be in touch, and hopefully, we can get those gigs happen. I'm still gonna be in touch if anything expands on that West Virginia thing. If they get to
Okay.
they allow me to bring a bigger group, I'm gonna stay in touch with you.
All righty, cool, cool. Well, I look forward to seeing you soon, eye to eye, at some point.
Yes. I'll share those thoughts with Bettina.
Oh,
She needs to hear that more. She's needs to get see she's encouragement sometimes. I feel like she doesn't realize like what a great songwriter she is. So
oh yeah, she's great. She's great. I'm trying to get up to her level.
oh man. Catch up with you.
Maybe we can do something together.
Yes, for
Write something together. Who knows? But again, it was a pleasure, and I tell everybody I said hey,
I will.
and I look forward to seeing you all soon.
And I'm gonna reach out to Jack Lasitra, that keyboard vocalist I told you about. I want you guys to connect. I know
Oh,
not
okay,
many people are doing many things yet, but hopefully soon the two of you should be playing together for sure.
cool. I love it.
Yeah.
I
All right,
love it.
take care, man.
All righty, enjoy your day.
You too. Okay, bye.
Bye bye.